Alright, so it's Lil T, and it's just a little vlog. Like after I just did a little song or whatever, but I went back to Facebook and this kid Tay Rico, like she has groupies out there the world. Like I don't want to curse or nothing because it's PG right now, but she has girls out the world. Like wow, like I probably did I cuss? Man, that's what you call messed up memory. Message, don't do drugs. But yeah, real talk. I'm up here looking at her little status, and she asked a really good question, like a really good question. And I've been asking myself this question for the longest time. And it's like, matter of fact, I'm gonna let you, like it says the camera's kind of flicking right now because it is a computer screen, but it says, "Is love really real?" And that's a good question. Like, is it like everyone has had their heart broken, I said that once and I'll say it again, I'll say it a million more times, but everyone's had their heart broken. And in that process of the whole flirt to the crush to the like to the love to the in love to what? It's like you go in love, but how the hell do you fall out of love? It's like a lot of kids ask me, or not even a lot of kids ask me, a lot of teenagers and people in general ask me, like, for advice about relationships and love, and you cannot throw stones when you live in a glass house. Like, that is irrelevant, you know what I mean? So when they ask me stuff that I'm already going through and I can't even solve for myself, I don't give them false advice. I don't give anyone false hope. So when she asks what is love really real, my answer to that is yes, because I think it's a little more complicated for us nowadays. Definitely, it's very, very complicated. Love for us is like in our generation in 2010. Okay, let's take it back to 1910. Okay, I was not even thought about being born. All of us weren't, unless you have a grandma that happened to be 100 years old, or a grandpa. I'm not excluding, but let's take it back then, where marriages were still somewhat being arranged and people were the women had barely no rights really. And men were expected to work, cultivate, and protect. So for men being able to do those three things, it was like women fell for the strongest and the best, but even though they fell for it, they had no rights, But even though they fell for them, sometimes it wasn't always working out that way. So for people to have to sneak around and date each other, like for instance, whites and blacks dating each other or seeing each other or sleeping with each other back then, but they were in love, For them to have to sneak around and people, or they have to hide their feelings, it must have been love. And now that you look at your grandparents, and if they're still together, whether they're deceased, their spouse is deceased or not, they're still in love. That they'll meet each other in paradise. And what I'm saying this is because our generation is so screwed up. Like a kid will be 12 years old on Facebook or MySpace or Twitter or YouTube vlogging about it, or freaking Skype, whatever, just typing "I love you," blah 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 blah, and it's all screwed up. So when she says, "Is love really real?" For most, yes, it is. You can have that 19th century love. You can have that love, or you can have what we have, the 21st century love. And I'm sorry, the 20th century love, because I took it back to 1910. But you can have that love, or you can have the 21st century love, which is I'm not saying it's unreal, but it's more likely to be divorced. It's more likely to anything. It's easier to fall out of love. I'm not saying it's because you have to sneak around or anything. I'm saying because so many people could throw around love so easily. They throw around that word like it's saying how's your day. They throw around that love just like that. You know what I mean? So that's my answer to you, Tay Rico, and to anyone else who asks, is love really real? That's just my opinion, but I mean, take it or leave it. Most people will leave it. Some people take it. That's just my advice. My little vlog number one, and I'm glad I had to be on something that's as serious as that, because so many people are so confused. Don't throw around don't throw around that big L word. It's called the big L for a reason. You know, don't throw around that word like it's saying hi, how are you? You know, because you don't love everyone. That's for sure. That's for sure. So, with that being said, I'm going to ask you guys to subscribe if you want to hear more advice or more music or whatever from me. I do it all. And if you got any questions or